Warning: the following content may contain elements that are not suitable for some audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
This is the Great Legend, and I'm coming at you live tonight from the Comic Core. Man, we have a great show tonight. We're going to be going over our picks of the week. You know, those number one books you love to read and pick up on Wednesday. What was your favorite? You're going to know the Comic Cores tonight. Plus, we've got a special guest and one more on the way as Comic Core is on the rails. And I forgot, man, that intro, man, threw me off. I thought I was in another segment back here about 25 seconds ago. But no, here we are, fans. We're here live tonight. We got a great show for you. We're going to be checking the chat here in a little bit. But I want to show you the one, the only. My co-host here tonight is with us live, KatRen Figures. Oh,
Hi.
And there is on her left, Mark BKR, the superstar behind the bar. How's it going, Mark?
It's going fine. How are you?
It's good to see you here live tonight. Next up, we got the VKM, my friend, and I'm talking about Comic Core Chad. Chad, what's going down, man?
We're just going to be drinking and popping the bubbly. What's going on tonight? Hey, yo, what's popping? Let's rock out right now.
Man, that's what it's all about. Comic Core Chad, the Ayatollah of Coca-Cola. But tonight he's informed me, fans, unsweet iced tea or unsweet tea in a bottle. But man, that's all right. He's always on the throttle. But we got our special guest tonight, you know, from the great city of Pittsburgh. Man, the one, the only, John Engel from New Dimension Comics.
Howdy.
John, it is good to have you here with us live tonight on the Comic Core. It felt just like it was yesterday. We were in Baltimore. But man, my friend, tonight we're going to be talking to you, talking about is it 7 stores in the Pittsburgh area?
6 stores.
6
yeah.
stores. And you never know. They may open a 7th if the Great Legend gets to run that show, but I don't know. But man, Pittsburgh's the place to be. We're going to be going over the Three Rivers Comic-Con. And also, John, we're going to be talking to you about, you know, customers going into the shops, man, at New Dimension and letting us know the experience of a shop owner and, you know, a guy that runs the store. So, man, Chad, before we get started, we got to check the chat, Chad. What's going on in the chat tonight?
It's a happening. We got that robot over there. Chris Barrett was the first one in the chat. Hey, yo, what's going on there, Chris Barrett? The Great Legend was lurking. We've got Fish Tropic. He's lurking. Why is everybody still in Perry's gimmick? We got Samuel David, Sam's Tangled Web. Burn it down, baby.
Burn it down,
also
man.
Got Scott, what is his name? Scott Neely. What's going on, Scott Neely? We got John's Comics with Kids, who's going live tomorrow. Check him out. Him and the fam. Chris Barrett's still in there. We've got Drew Manchu's first cousin, Double S. What's going on there, nephew? We got Mac Daddy Austin in the house, 109. We got Thom's Comic.
Thom, baby, Thom. I love me some Thom.
Check him out. We got Scott Evans is still hanging. We've got TJ, the Slab Dragon, Fish Tropic, and the man, the myth, the creator of what they call the Bueller Bump. It's none other than Comics with Bueller. What's happening?
Comics with Bueller.
And I didn't see him because he's making that list, and it's hot, and it's the top 10, a.k.a. Mr. Bolo. What is going on, Mr. Bolo? But, hey, Legend, you know, it's a party, and 4's not a party. We got to hit one more up. What do you say?
Oh, hell yeah. Our next special guest down the line, he is the creator of Junior High Horror and the creator of X Liefeld, among tons of other stuff. And he's a pretty damn good artist himself. We got Rob Potchak, a.k.a. Potsy, man.
Oh, yeah.
Potsy.
He's looking for his mic.
Oh, man. Oh, dude.
Hi,
You know what
Potsy.
I'm talking about.
You
But
can't
I'm
hear
saying
him.
Potsy is one of the best. Let me see. Let me see.
I think he said what's
Yep.
up.
There he goes.
Oh, yeah. He's plugging it in. But, man,
Oh,
Potsy,
yeah.
he knows what it's all about. He's on
We
the
also
front
got
line.
1-2 Comic Talk just joined us.
1-2 Comic Talk.
All right, I got a question for you. You know what? Hey, while Potsy gets ready to go,
He's ready, man. Potsy's live. His mic is on. I can hear it. Potsy, what's going on?
All right, so am I live now? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hell
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, perfect. Yeah, I was having some technical difficulties while I was backstage, so.
So I want to give a special congratulations to somebody that, like John, I got to tell you, man, I'm super proud of you, brother. Like, to have the con coming back to the Berg where it should be. That's right, guys. There it is. May 30th through the 31st at the David Convention Center.
David
Hey.
L. Lawrence.
Can we let's talk about that a little bit? What do you think?
Well, I'm excited.
I would hope so.
For those of you who don't know the background of the show, we started it. We used to do a lot of like one-day mall shows, like in small old spaces. The first 3 years we did it in the 30,000 square foot space in an old mall, and then we moved it to about a 50,000 square foot space in a bigger plaza last year, and then this year, the way the show's been growing, the way the hype's been going, just the all over vibe that we get every year as it goes and goes and goes, we decided to make the step now, and we're taking it downtown, man. It's gonna be huge. We're doubling the space that we had last year. So,
Dude, this is like the big convention center, man. This is like the big one. Like, are y'all just totally pumped or what?
yeah, I will tell you, when we went to tell them that we were definitely on board, it was kind of like buying a house. Like you're like super nervous and you're just like, oh man. And then we're like, I went home that night and I couldn't sleep. And it wasn't because I was like just super excited. It was because all my stress had gone away. Like,
Yeah.
I was just like, I was stressing because I wasn't stressed. It was the weirdest thing.
It's like you locked in the deal and you had some good feel, man. You
Yeah,
knew it was gonna
exactly.
go, and then you could sleep easy.
Right. And we're just, I can't tell you how excited my entire team is to do this. I've gotten a lot of really great personal messages from a lot of creators, a couple publishers. As soon as we released the news, I had 50 people sign up for booths. So, I mean, it's going to be killer.
And you know what? Another great thing is with, you got to also take in effect that there may be artists, there may be writers, there may be colorists, inkers, letterers, anybody in that, in the comic book field like that will be interested in coming to a home con if they live in y'all's area. So that's pretty freaking awesome.
I mean,
yeah, it's going to be good.
John, you and I talked about this down in Baltimore, and you don't want this to be a hometown con. You want that feel, but you want this to to be the Baltimore, the C2E2. You want it to grow, right?
Yeah, my long-term plan for the show is to kind of be like the baby brother to Baltimore style, where it's very comic focused, and it's just massive. And we're growing to become that. We just hope that people come to check it out to make sure that we can continue to do it.
I mean, you've had great success where you guys were at in the past. I don't foresee this being a problem because the community itself, we're just tired of the flea market in Monroeville.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't been to that show in years, so I can't tell you. But I can't tell you the last time I remember seeing like a big comic book name there. And there's a difference between like that kind of show and the show we do. And our slogan is putting the comics back in Comic-Con, because a lot of times you have shows that say, hey, we're a Comic-Con, and then you go there and there's like 2 dealers and maybe some guys that like self-published, and that's about it. Our show has 2 publishers confirmed, 2 more that I can't talk about yet. At least 60 artists that have been published by one of the big 2. I mean, it's nuts. Like, you know, and then I have like 150 people that'll probably end up being in the minimum in the artist alley. And then I have like 60 plus dealers minimum. We have some cool like tribute groups like the 501st and the like the Star Trek version of the 501st, which is Starfleet International, which is kind of neat. And we have, you know, we have a lot of cosplay too. So and that's pretty much what it is. So
What do you ask something, Potsy?
I just asked if the Starfleet people are, you know, working for Space Force.
No, but they really enjoyed the actual logo for Space Force. That was kind of a really exciting day. I'm actually part of that Starfleet group, and it kind of went nuts. It was pretty funny. So.
I have a question real quick for this girl real quick here. KatRen figures. When are you going to go down to Pittsburgh?
We'd have to plan for that because that's a bit of a ways for us.
This guy's always got room for you, right, Chad?
Chad, what time did we get to your house, and when did you find me passed out on the beanbag chair with your dog?
You guys got to the house around 8. We went to pick up we went to eat, then we went to pick up Jason, and you were asleep by the time I got back.
Just so you guys know, I live like 2 miles from Jason's house.
Yeah,
like it was awesome driving him home because I was like, oh, sweet, like you're right there.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad you drove him home, dude. Because
in the morning.
I'm glad you drove him home because sometimes he's just gone too soon.
Kat, what shirt do you got on?
Oh, I got Colossus.
Oh,
It's my man Colossus.
Yep.
That's awesome. Hey, John, can you talk about some of the guests that you already have booked?
And my
yeah. Well, today we released Bart Sears. We announced Bart Sears via social media. We also have Dave Wachter coming up. That announcement will kick tomorrow, but he's actually on the website now. He was in the news recently for the Lady Ninja Turtle.
Yeah.
Jenica?
Yeah, that would be it. We have guys like Brett Breeding, which I have.
Brett Breeding, yeah. Yeah, I mean, classic, man.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
We also have his partner in crime and my friend, Mr. Ron Friends.
Ron Friends.
We have guys like Robert Hack, which this is a custom Three Rivers and New Dimension comic Kennywood cover where the Archie gang went to Kennywood. So you have like the entire Archie gang there.
That's freaking awesome.
Archie gang.
Mr. Gretzky freaking 9966 loves reading him some Archie. He's an Archie guy in the community.
That's awesome. We have Guy Gilchrist who helped design the Muppets. Mike Gilbert who did Elric. And he worked on Superman, a bunch of other stuff. Mark McKenna, who is one of like the best inkers out there. He worked on Star Wars, Deadpool, Spider-Man, Exiles. Craig Boldman, who also worked on Archie. He was one of the guys that popularized the Jughead book in the second wave of Archie books. Tom Zahler, who's famous for Love and Capes and also My Little Pony. Pat Olive, who's another local guy, but has worked for Marvel and DC and Aftershock. He recently did Hawkman for DC.
Cool.
Thank God you didn't say.
Probably most well known. Sorry, Legend. Probably most well known though for Untold Tales of Spider-Man, right?
I would think Spider Girl probably actually, or Catwoman.
Thank God you didn't say Hawkeye because Kat doesn't know anything about Hawkeye. She has no clue.
That's a running joke now.
Well, I love Hawkeye actually.
I love Hawkeye too. I love both of them.
And we have guys like Don Simpson, Wayne Foucher, who's awesome. He did Impulse with Mark Waid.
Oh, yeah.
Howard Bender, who did Superman. And then we have guys like newer guys like Richard Pace, who just finished doing Second Coming for Ahoy. He also used to work on The Pit back in the day.
Oh, classic.
Matt Horak, who did Spider-Man Deadpool. He did that Punisher run with Matt Rosenberg, and he did the Punisher 2099 book. Let me see. Dirk Manning, who's always a favorite. If you're into underground stuff, we have Dan Fogel coming.
Okay, yeah.
And
Dan
he
Fogel,
kinda,
yeah.
like, wrote the book on underground stuff. Right?
It was like the Overstreet, but for all underground indie type stuff. Really cool.
He did our first year show and did a great panel with it. It was awesome. My friend Vito Dasante, who wrote Stray for Action Lab, he's also worked for DC and Marvel. He's a super great guy.
Stray's a great book if you haven't read it.
It is
Super fun.
And then somebody that I've confirmed, but I don't have all their stuff to announce yet, but I will tell you guys because you're awesome. But we have Barry Kitson coming. So
Dude, that's so freaking awesome.
Yeah.
That's a big get.
that is a big get. So I'm waiting to see how many people listen to this and like start blowing up my phone.
Well, you know what else is blowing
We'll
up?
find out
Chad?
how big your actual Pittsburgh reaches.
Yeah,
Chad, you know
viewership.
what's blowing up, Chad?
That
is
chat.
the chat, man. Check that chat.
I saw 1-2 Comic Talk in there. I saw Geek Out Therapy. I see. Where is he? Comic book. Oh my God. Comic Man Andy is in the chat. And then for Carson, I got to do it. Ready? Big the snake.
Yeah.
Was that okay?
Good
Dude,
job.
that's what I'm talking about. Well, you know,
Good job.
one thing we do on the Comic Core when we're on the rails, we talk about the books we read throughout the week. And, you know, I want to go to KatRen. KatRen, what was some of the stuff you read this week? And what was your pick of the week?
All right. So I read a couple books for this week that actually came out this week. Partially because I made it to one of my local LCSs, and partially because I was just on a show the other night. So White Whale
Dancing with the Stars.
and John's Comics with Kids brought me on for their reading club, and we discussed Tartarus #1 from Image Comics. And I'm just going to tell everyone right now, save your money. It was not for any of the three of us, to be honest.
So what was the book called again?
Tartarus.
So
#1.
you read that Turditress #1. That's what you read. It's a Turditress. You know,
Anywho.
turd. You know,
It's like a bird.
We got God Tank in the chat. Pixie Dust.
God, yeah, that joke just tanked. Thank God, Tank, for
No, but we had a
protecting my
blast.
bad joke.
I'll tell you what a turd was, that joke.
Yeah, that was Jerry Lawler. That was Jerry Lawler. Sorry,
But
bad joke.
I got a couple other really Midnighter.
Oh,
wants to
Midnighter
join.
getting some camera time. He's like, I like a good threesome.
Anywho,
Hashtag cricket. Sorry.
legend gone too soon. But a couple of the books I had to pick up this week. First off is Hawkeye Freefall.
Sweet.
So this is issue 3.
Thom, if you're
and-
watching, there it is, Hawkeye.
I love the book. I love that book. It's very reminiscent of the Matt Fraction stuff for me.
Mm.
So does anybody else get the vibe that John is just a nicer version of Drew?
Dude, I think so.
What?
Maybe a little less cynical.
Because I have a better beard.
Hell yeah, you do. You better not. You do.
Dang.
Looks way better, Drew.
But really funny issue. Kind of explains a bit more into what's going on with Ronan in this run right now. I'm not going to spoil it for anyone who hasn't had a chance to read it yet. Definitely, I would highly suggest picking that book up.
Coucherson is in the chat. Hey, what kind of couch are you guys sitting on?
A very comfortable one.
All right. Thank you, Coucherson.
It's a comfy one. I don't know. It's a nice couch.
I told you we got a whole new crew of people.
Gotta love it.
Anywho, next I picked up Thor issue 3. I picked up the Gwen Stacy variant for it. I just thought it was hysterical personally.
Mm-hmm.
I loved the first 2 issues of Thor. I actually haven't had a chance to read this yet, but I did think the variant was hysterical. So
She's like, whatever,
Highly
Thunder
suggested.
God. You know.
well, if you look at her, you can tell it's storming, and you see her umbrella is right there.
Dang.
That's all Thor's fault.
Like, you jerk.
Pretty much. She's
What a jerk.
she's like, my hair is gonna get wet, Thor. Thanks a lot. And okay, from a female's perspective, it's not fun when your hair gets wet. It's really irritating.
I think from Mark KR's perspective, it's not cool getting your hair wet.
I really don't care about getting my hair wet. I stand outside in the rain.
As the guy who had hair longer than cats at one point, I agree.
We'll remember that, Mark, when we're in Orlando and you get pushed into a pool.
Probably.
Why is it cool?
Long
The
as there's
ocean's
not
there.
Fish
alligators.
traffic.
Then
Good.
Then
This
your
traffic
hair.
wanted to know how
But-
much the variant was. I will tell you, in my stores, it's cover price.
Yeah, I just got
That's
it for
good
cover
stuff,
price.
dude. That's good stuff.
I know some people are jacking it up. I just got it for cover price at my local LCS. And my pick of the week, which I think this is going to be no surprise to anyone who knows me, knows my collection, knows the things I'm constantly talking about. But we had my two loves, Amanda Connor and Jimmy Palmiotti, return to my girl Harley Quinn. So this is Harley
Dude.
Quinn and the Birds of Prey issue 1. I believe it's a mini series. I believe it's only like supposed to be 6 issues.
A mini series to
Or-
coincide
or
with the
will.
great movie. Man, count me in, especially
Hey,
for
Pledge.
Palmiotti and Connor.
Click on this screen real quick.
Oh, all right. You've got something.
Yep, I've got that one coming
Now,
from Midtown.
look at that. Now that's a cover right
I
there.
enjoy that book, but I mean, all I hear, it's fun. I enjoy it just because of the cartoon.
Mm-hmm. What
Yeah.
what else do you think about that pick of the week? Did you read the inside, or did you just go goo goo gaga over the Amanda Connor?
I read it. I read it.
You got to get a little Palmiotti on it.
I-
There's a really
this
cool.
is the thing I don't like. These
Oh,
are really
what?
hard to get in and out of their bags and boards.
But
Oh, that's
like
black. Is that Black
oversized.
Label? Yes,
Yeah.
it is. Magazine
Look at
size.
this, and then look at this.
Mm-hmm.
It's so big. I mean,
The funny thing about it is, did you guys notice that her
Yeah.
bathing suit, her bottom half is made out of crabs?
Oh yeah, it's a crab, and she's got
Oh, my
starfish and pasties
Great.
in it.
That is so funny. Crabs.
And they're using Superman as a cabana boy.
Love the Amanda Connor Superman. So cool. Just such an excellent artist.
Check it out.
So there's one panel in particular that's just hilarious.
One of those Batman Black Label panels, I suppose.
Okay. All right. My name is Harley F. Quinn. And this entire fight scene, she's trying to tell them her middle name is Francis. But she keeps getting attacked, and she keeps saying "fuck" every 5 seconds. And then she tries again to tell him her name's Francis. And it doesn't happen until like the very end of it. But crazy fight sequence. And you soon find out that the Birds of Prey are afoot. So
I was looking at Palmiotti on Twitter, and I was reading about it, and he put down, what if that old story called The Pro got turned into a TV show?
I would be the happiest. We would be the happiest. Kat and I would be two of the happiest people in the world.
okay.
that
Connor.
rumor's been around for like a couple years.
Mhm.
What's that?
So that rumor's been around for a couple years. So
Using The Pro as a movie or TV show.
They've got the little short that's available here on YouTube of the Pro. But Chad, how many times have I told you the Pro is one of my favorite things?
You know what?
Period.
I agree. But
Fantastic.
you know what I think would be really, really cool?
You know what I think? I think I want to know what your picks of the week are.
Well, here's my I'm going to finish that thought because I think it'd be really, really awesome if we had a junior high horror cartoon.
Damn!
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Potsy just fell down and went to sleep.
Oh,
I'm actually doing a sketch card while we're
Hey, we got to give a big shout out to Thunderhouse Design in the chat, and also the man that makes all the graphics every single time, the best in the game, That's right. Bob World.
Bob World,
Bob
dude.
World.
Dude, Bob World, one of my favorite dudes, one of my favorite men in the YouTube comic book community. I look up to this man. He's been through, a lot of things, and man, by looking at your journey, it makes the rest of us comic core folks stronger, brother. Bob World.
So Bake the Snake said, I have plenty of magazine-sized Mylar because there's nothing like Mylar, right, Kat? He said hit him up and work something out with you. So there you go. Pick of the week, and it's because they introduced a new character. His name is Paradox. I am going to go with the Flash.
Oh, yeah. Good looking cover on that.
Yeah, and one of my favorite characters is in it, but it's an alternate reality version, and his name is King Turtle.
Oh.
But yeah, I got to go with this too. And I'm for Carson. I can't, newsstand.
Who did that cover?
Our best friend
Stanley Lau?
See, I think that's our term, isn't it?
Yeah, Art Germ.
No.
No, it's not.
Or is it?
No, it's one of the
His
same
pupils from his
students.
school.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
one of his students. It's the guy who's doing the Supergirl covers. He took over the Supergirl beat
Okay.
cover.
I
can't
crap.
think of his name right off.
But yeah,
I know who
the
you're talking
same
about,
school.
too, yeah.
It's the
I've
same
got so
school
many
of art,
covers from him.
the same school of thought, man. Chad, what did you think about that story?
It'll come
my
to me
friend?
later.
Oh, I think Chad took.
No, I'm here.
Yeah, you're still with us, my friend. What did you think about that story, dude?
And I'll ask
Palmiotti at its finest, man.
Kat, isn't this just like watching the episodes?
Yes.
I mean,
Like,
obviously, it is. The artwork is exactly like the show. The interaction. If you threw Poison Ivy in this, it would be the show part 2.
pretty much.
And I think they should put Poison Ivy in it because I have a strange, I've never.
He has a crush on Poison Ivy from the show. We've talked about
Like,
this
he's
so
such a-
many times.
Oh, Poison Ivy from the show is fabulous. Like
She's
I love her.
super sexy, right?
She,
wish-
He is.
Right.
He is.
she has the best voice in cartoons.
And then I found out who she was, and I was like, all right.
But
Who was it?
What the heck?
very
seen her?
dry
She's been in
comedian.
a
I
ton of
think
shit.
about what her name is.
Man, there ain't nothing like Harley, and there ain't nothing like knowing the voice actress that plays Harley. But while they decide
The
what
voice
they
actress
want to,
that plays Harley is Kaylee Cuoco.
Yeah.
We're talking about the voice actress that plays Poison Ivy, and none of us can remember her name.
All right.
I can think of her face. She's a brunette.
Well, you know what I think? I think Green Lantern Season 2, Issue 1 was the book that had the most fun. I mean, you got Hal Jordan. He's back from screwing around with Controller Moo on Earth 15 or wherever he was. So he's back in action. But the Guardians have a new task for Hal, and that is to find some new Guardians, some younger Guardians. So he goes over to the place where they harvest the Guardians, the babies and everything, and talks to the mother. And sure enough, they got some Guardians. It was a hard little battle. Some crazy stuff went down. But Hal got the job done along with a new friend. He's got a new hire over there on the Green Lantern Corps, some crystal dude. Can't remember his name, but he's made out of crystals. And, it's always good to get different aliens to play different Green Lanterns. Grant Morrison, Liam Sharp, two of the best. And if you look real close, you know how Grant Morrison does know how to look in between the lines of the digital reality. But Sharp as well, man, did some nice splash pages where they were all in like this bar setting, and it had both of them, Grant Morrison and Sharp, cold chilling on the bar, having a cold brew on the artwork inside. So take a look in that book, my friends. You'll be seeing a big old rainbow. And I'm not talking about LeVar Burton's Reading Rainbow, but a rainbow of the color spectrum.
That one.
You're really going to get it on the
Quick
green.
answer. Her name is Pamela Isley.
Oh, yeah, John Ingle. John Ingle, man. Now, Pamela Isley may be green, but she ain't as green as that bright light, baby. John, what was some of the cool stuff you read this week?
That same Green Lantern, I gotta say, is probably my pick of the week. The Hawkeye also.
In your face, Chad and Kat.
If you haven't been reading this book, you are missing out. If you are a Star Wars fan, you just need to do it.
The Kylo Ren?
Yeah.
That was the one where Luke was in there and they got attacked and and Luke handled himself. Was issue 2? I think so.
It's basically the story for the Knights of Ren, which is awesome.
Damn.
So, I haven't read this yet, but I did check it. Or I'm going to check this out. And then I'm really excited to read this.
Ooh.
And it's a one shot. So
I read that.
Was it good? Did you like it?
Was that the one from last week? No. I'm sorry.
That's this week.
No, that's from this week.
I will pretty much read anything that Pete Tomasi writes. So, he does great with Batman.
He went through some of your boxes in Baltimore.
That's true. He did.
Bought a ton of stuff from those boxes.
So I mean, okay, we're gonna wait.
We'll talk Tomasi because Chad is a big Tomasi fan. If you notice, Chad also likes to wear his sunglasses at night, just like Tomasi. But back to John, man. John, what's some other good stuff?
Oh my God, there's just so much good stuff. I can't even keep up anymore.
Do you have
Green Lantern, dude? Great pick on the
book near you right now that you have here?
What's that? Oh, so I don't get to read as fast as I'd like to anymore because I'm super busy. But if you guys, we just switched over to a POS system called Comic Hub. I don't know if you guys use it on your local LCS. But,
I hope it's not a POS.
As POS, it's awesome. So just like the way I remember what I've read and what I bought though is with this system, and I can actually order my books the week out. I can order them a month out, and I can manage my subscription from my phone. So if you look up comichub.com and check out local stores, it's great for that. But that's really honestly, I've just been so busy with the con stuff that I'm a little behind. So. Those are the only books I got to read this week. But because Legend, you mentioned Hal Jordan, I will show you two of my favorite pieces out of my personal collection. You ready?
Yeah. Oh, damn. Oh my God.
I have two of these, by the way.
Now, what number is that? Was that a 7 or a number 1?
That is a 1 and an 85.
Damn, that number 1, man. Freaking classic, dude.
Yep.
That's awesome.
I do have a 7. It is beat to hell, though.
Well, it looks like we have Jason Cantu in the Facebook chat says, Jason Cantu approves of this message.
Oh, yeah.
So he's out there somewhere. Potsy, I know you're a busy man. You're always writing and all the good stuff, drawing and doodling and doing everything. But you been reading any books? Wow, look at there. Dude.
Well, Calvin and Hobbes action.
Yeah, evil, venomized Hobbes. Dude.
Yeah, and of course Calvin wearing a Spider-Man shirt. Legend, I did not get a chance to read up on comics. I am definitely looking forward to reading that season 2 of Green Lantern. Anybody who knows me knows that Liam Sharp is one of my favorites, so I'm all about picking up anything that he works on. In fact, I'd love to see him do Superman next because he's tackled Batman, he's tackled Green Lantern, he's tackled Wonder Woman at this point. I think it's time to put him on a Superman book that does not have a specific writer that's currently writing it, but any other thing would be good there. Now, this past week, most of my reading of comics was on books that I'm editing currently for KeenSpot. I was going through and making sure I was editing up the upcoming title called Ninjas and Robots from Kubert School alum Eric Klaus. So I talk about that one.
That sounds like something Kat would read.
Probably.
So it's funny because the first time I ever met Eric, I was like, so why not come up with a really catchy name for it? And he was like, well, people like ninjas and people like robots. Mm-hmm. So if I put ninjas and robots together, and so after that, he let me take a look at what he was working on, and I was like, okay, we're taking you to KeenSpot and we're getting this book made. So
how's everything going over at KeenSpot?
KeenSpot's doing really well, man. There's some news I can't actually talk about yet, but I guess what I can say is that in the next couple months, you might actually see a second printing of the Junior High Horrors Volume 1, now what I like to call is the dyslexia-friendly Volume 1.
And if you haven't seen Potsy's interview on, was it ABC, right?
ABC, yes.
So check him out on ABC. I'll put the link in the description below. So his interview about Junior High Horrors.
Hey, isn't that show This Is Us? Is that on ABC?
That's on.
No, that one's on NBC.
Oh,
and
damn.
guess
I'm
what?
thinking a million
Good
little
show.
Hey, real quick, Legend. Guess where that show takes place?
Pittsburgh, man.
Yeah,
The
that's
Steelers
right. And
fell.
if you happen to be in the Pittsburgh area, May 30th through the 31st
nice
on
segue.
2020, check out the Three Rivers Comic Con. We will have their link and everything in our description below. Check out John and New Dimension Comics. Great bunch of guys.
That's how you do it, Carson. That's how you do it.
Where is Chad?
Where's Carson?
We went to our picks of the week, and I was thinking about some topics, and me and Chad were talking, and we heard the news. DC's doing another relaunch coming soon. Chad, what do you think, man? The relaunch, dude. Chad, what's your thoughts, man? I know you love a good relaunch. Dude,
That's pretty much my opinion too. So.
He's freaking speechless. John, you've seen many relaunches from both big twos. What's your thoughts on this DC relaunch, and can it bring them some more fans in?
I'll be honest, it's a complete crapshoot. Every time they do this, some people go nuts about the first arc, and if they can keep a creative team beyond the first arc, then they'll be fine. But if they remember what was the book last time? It was like Jim Lee's going to be on this first arc.
Mega Man.
2 issues. Yeah. Right.
It was 1 issue and 2 panels in the second book.
Yeah.
Dude.
Well, hey, they're just following suit anytime Steve McNiven's working on a Marvel book.
Mm-hmm.
I love Steve McNiven's stuff. Got to meet the guy. He's an amazing artist, but at the same time, if you're going to solicit a book saying that he's the regular artist, put him on 6 issues minimum.
All right, it's filibust time.
All right, I'm putting it on him. Go for it.
Oh my God, how do I say this? All right, here's my issue. Bendis, Honey Badger has literally screwed the pooch over at DC. Everything
let me
that he has
for you.
touched has not panned out. I mean, the only thing he cares about is what? I'm going to throw it to Kat.
It's like I said before. Honey Bendis don't care about anyone else's continuity or anyone else's characters. Honey Bendis only care about Honey Bendis's characters. Like Naomi is the big one that he's pushing right now. I'm sorry. I picked up that first issue of Naomi, and I think I fell asleep during it because the book is so freaking boring. And he's trying to make this Naomi chick into the next coming of heroes and this great character. And it's like, I don't care. I really don't.
And the other issue, Kat, is you are writing Superman, right?
Mm-hmm.
Superman has been fantastic. Tomasi was killing it.
He's got this great run as a family man. He's happily married. He's got his son. He's teaching his son to be a young hero.
Does he have shades on?
He does.
His son is best friends with Batman's son. They've got the whole Super Sons thing going on. It's a whole family thing. They've got friends. They go on double dates with Batman and Catwoman. It's this whole great thing that's going on right now. But then we invite Honey Bendis. And what does Honey Bendis do? Oh, well, of course, Superman can't be happily married. Oh, wait, Superman's son can't be around. Oh, well, he can be around, but he's got to be aged up. Oh,
and there can't be any Clark Kent.
Yeah, but
there clearly can't be.
He's following in the footsteps of John Byrne. That's all he's doing.
We clearly
Byrne, dude.
Now what we have to do is we have to give him a young superheroes book, because clearly he's proven so much that he loves the young superheroes by aging up. Superboy and Robin.
Yeah, he likes them young. I guess.
Hey, John.
Now he's going up and he's writing Young Justice. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to try to give Young Justice a chance because I loved the original run of Young Justice. I loved the animated series of Young Justice. I care about these characters. Impulse is one of my boys. We got Connor back as Superboy. We've got Amethyst. We've got Wonder Girl. We've got a Robin on the team. I'm super pumped about this, right? Then I start to read it. I'm like, why? Why? I've already pulled it off of my pulls list. I haven't been getting it the last couple issues. I'm not getting back on it until they get rid of Bendis, but I'm pretty sure the book will be gone before Bendis is.
I would get back on it, man. Got to get back on it.
Potsy, you had a question?
Well, I was actually just going to say to John that, when John Byrne was put on Superman, it was because he was tasked with restarting it.
Yeah.
Bendis wasn't retasked with starting Superman here.
Right.
This was just Bendis going, the whole 9-year-old kid thing doesn't work for me. So how about we make him 15? We take him away from his parents. We give him to Grandpa, who everybody thought was going to end up being, Ozymandias. And then instead of all that, we're going to go ahead and totally screw up what's going on. And then when we bring Connor back, hey, let's bring him back so he's the same age as John, so that way there's really no difference between the two characters. So when I screw up how I write them, guess what? We're still allowed to do it. No. Make him 9 years old.
Yeah.
The whole
Hell
story.
yeah, man.
John, from a retailer standpoint, I know the numbers came out and DC is down 10% over Marvel. I mean, Marvel's beating them by 10% currently, right? That's probably one of the highest margins in a long time. What are you seeing from a retail standpoint?
It's a little bit of both. Marvel outside of the X family is not super great either right now. And they're doing the same thing. They're not putting great creative teams on it. The teams are changing a lot. They're relaunching books all the time. And DC is pretty much just, they've held on too long doing this guy gets an arc and then this guy gets an arc and then this guy gets an arc, and they don't keep it consistent enough to keep people involved in the story. There's too many overstepping people's continuities, and it's like you'll get one story where somebody will be talking about something really cool, and then the next story it's like they just completely forgot about it and they just went into whatever they want. So there's not a lot of consistency in either of the big two right now, but the one thing Marvel has going on for it is all of the X family. All those books are one big storyline because Jonathan Hickman is doing really well with that, even though I'm not a Hickman fan. But I do enjoy what he's doing for the books, actually cultivating a story that's overarching all of these books. But really, a lot of people are trying to get into different independent stuff now, so that's kind of cool. It's kind of cool to see independents grow a little more that aren't just Image either. We're seeing a lot more people go to Aftershock, Vault, Scout. Things like that. And the bad part is a lot of shops don't carry a lot of indie because they don't have a lot of space. But fortunately for us, we have ridiculous amounts of space.
Speaking of space, this year in Pittsburgh, we can go see at the Three Rivers Comic Con, May 30th through the 31st, 2020. Man, this place right here is huge, and you got a ball field that you can look directly into. That I think there was something called
the corner that you're actually seeing there, the closest corner to the right of the building. If you stand there on the third floor, you can actually look into PNC Park across the river, and you can see. So from that building, you have 4 museums, a casino, 3 major sporting arenas or fields.
Yep.
You have a state
strip
park.
district.
You have a state park.
Yeah, and you also have the strip district, which is right there in the cultural district.
Oh yeah, the cultural district is crazy. You have theaters. You have all kinds of cool
You
stuff.
mean the
right
red
there.
light district?
But right across the river from this, right across the Roberto Clemente Bridge from this con is the Andy Warhol Museum.
Yep.
And if you make a left on the far end of this picture and go straight down, there's the Smithsonian, and that is what is it called? The Children's or shoot?
Well, there's the Heinz.
The
Museum.
Heinz Museum, and it also has that they have the entire original set from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Yep.
Damn,
That's
they
awesome.
still have it there. Well, you
Yeah.
know, one cool thing
Across the river from the convention center, there's a giant statue of Mr. Rogers that you can sit on.
Yeah, but
Dude.
he kind of looks like a mud monster.
Yeah, that too. You know. Cat's like, I may make this drive.
It's
I
super.
need to make an appointment to go.
It is super creepy, and it's in this. It's in
We
a.
can make it in 5 hours.
What is it? It's like an archway, right? And
Yeah.
in the archway, they have Mr. Rogers singing and talking, and you can hear him speaking. And what's really cool about it is just it's a throwback to Mr. Rogers. But I will pull up this image for you guys because this is a terrifying image of Mr. Rogers. Where is it?
the big giant
Oh,
statue.
Legend,
Oh,
I have a question.
it's a mud monster.
He's like sitting. It's like sitting down with his legs crossed, and he's just kind of like being very happy with his cardigan on. But it's cool. He like sits in front of Heinz Field, looking over the rivers. There it is.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
It's huge, though.
I mean, it's
Why-
massive.
Why does it have like that, like graininess?
Because
to
it's
it?
made of brass.
Yeah,
Ah,
and it's kind of like just. I mean, you could tell it was like an abstract version of it.
It's really cool though. I took a couple of guys from Valiant came in a couple years ago, and I gave them like a tour of the city, and we went to a couple different other shops that aren't mine that we're friendly with. And I took the one guy there because he was wearing a cardigan, and I was like, "You're into Mr. Rogers." He's like, "How did you know?" Like the cardigan.
Oh yeah, and when
Oh,
you're
so
in
good.
Pittsburgh, man, when you're in Pittsburgh, you got to be wary of your friendlies and your frenemies.
And your furries.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
we are the third largest furry convention in the country at Anthrocon in Pittsburgh.
yeah,
So
that's right.
that's in July though, so we got a little bit of time.
And this is your typical May day in Pittsburgh. Sun coming over the mountains, Mr. Rogers. And then everything here has French fries on it. You order a salad, we have French fries on it. You order a sandwich, it's got French fries and coleslaw on it.
You order French fries; they have French fries on it.
Yeah,
Nice.
French
basically
fries
a
on top
condiment.
of your
I was just at
Yes.
Permane Brothers today. I got a sandwich with French fries on it and coleslaw.
KatRen figures. Tell me what you like on your French fries.
salt and ketchup.
Good. Hey, you can't go wrong with the
Traditional.
You can't go wrong with the classics.
Standard.
Yeah.
Legends are more of a poutine kind of guy.
No, I don't like those. I don't do them Canadian fries. Yes, I don't do those, man.
And then Potsy, what are you? What do you like down there in Carolina?
I'm really just a salt type person on my French fries, but they've got to be real potato fries. They can't be like that fake potato stuff.
So from a creator standpoint, how frustrating would it be to do
What
this,
kind of
to
fries?
be having this relaunch, Potsy?
What kind of fries do you like?
French fry
Yeah,
relaunch?
let's let Mark BKR sit there and give his fry speech.
Yeah, you fry guy. What have you been eating over there, Mark BKR?
It's got to be potatoes because he's eating potatoes every time I'm on the show.
Damn, Mark, sit still.
No, right now I'm eating chocolate kisses.
Oh, okay, all right.
Except then earlier I had a whole bowl of
Crab ragu.
crab ragu and then what is it?
Just as long as you're not having a whole bowl of Colossus. And you talk about anyway.
You want to talk about a whole bowl? We got fish tropics still in there.
Whole man, whole.
Favorite French fry, Mark.
Sweet potato.
God, you're weird.
I know, man. I'm talking salad steel cage match, Chad.
Thunder House Design, yes, they still make Iron City beer to everyone's sadness.
Great. What is this
Damn.
monstrosity, Chris
What-
Barrett?
But hey, John, why don't you talk about what's unique about the con and what you guys usually do at the con?
Oh yeah.
We do a couple cool things. We do a charity auction for Extra Life, which is then. Oh, geez, my dog is like jumping all over. Say hi, Maddie. Say hi.
Hello.
He doesn't care. So we do a charity auction. We have some of the artists that are there do pieces ahead of time. We have some of them do them there. This is a piece I won last year by Russ Braun.
So beautiful, man.
Right. Super cool. And if you look in his sketchbook from last year, you'll see a Billy Butcher that he did because he worked on The Boys for a while. That actually has our logo. But we do that. We have the coolest thing that we do that is kind of unique to our show is we make a convention beer every year. Like we don't make it. We have somebody make it for us. We commission it through Shoe Brew, which is in Zelienople, just north of Pittsburgh by about a half an hour. And it is a Russian Imperial Stout, and it is aged in coffee barrels. And it is awesomely high test. And as some of you know, because I've given you some, it's always good to share a couple beers with friends, and that's why I like to do that. And every year we have someone who's at the show do the label for it. So, so a couple of highlighted ones were the first year was Joe Linsner. He did Dawn. Then we had Robert Krause, who worked with Mark Waid on Irredeemable. We called it Beer Redeemable, and it was Mark. It was really cool. If I had one right here, I would show you, but I think it's just in my fridge. Then year 3, we had Joe Jusko do a Witchblade, which I think I gave some of you guys that, right? Yeah,
I've got it.
yeah. Oh, yours are signed by Mark Silvestri though, because I had him sign those bottles at Chicago for you.
Gorgeous, by the way. Thank you.
Oh, so good.
Wow.
And then last year we had Josh Blaylock do a Mercy Sparks. And I think I gave you some of those at Baltimore, right?
I've got those too, yeah.
Yeah.
You see a theme there?
That's just like, John's my beer hookup. So when you get the VIP package for the con, you get 2 cans of these to take home. We're currently, since we just announced the venue, we're working out those details to make sure that we can still work that out in one way or another at the show. So come out for that. We have not announced the beer label artist. That should be soon. But I can tell you it's going to be cool. They're always a creator-owned piece by someone that is, at the show. I will tell you, the only hint I will give you is that it is someone we have listed on the website right now. That's the only hint you get.
Is McDaniels going to be there?
Scott is always a wild card. He's a friend of mine, and his mom actually sent me a Valentine today. It was really cute. But
the guy from Tick.
Ben Edlund?
No, you're
Who am I
what?
thinking?
I don't know who you're thinking about. I'm
The
talking about
local
Scott
guy?
McDaniel. Like,
No. I was. Isn't there another local guy that was on Tick?
Man, what is his name?
He did Foo Bar too.
Yeah, it's escaping me.
What is his name? Could it be Comics Misexplained?
I don't know. But they also do some really cool things leading up to the show. They also do the cosplay karaoke.
Yeah, we did one last night actually at Hard Rock Cafe.
Damn.
Downtown Pittsburgh, right on the river, right across the other river from the convention center.
Any Shazam characters? Mary Marvel, Freddie Freeman? Any cool Shazam characters?
Not this time. We did have some cool this time we had 2 characters from Black Mirror that were really good.
Ooh.
We had some My Hero Academia. We had a Venom who. So the theme this time was duets, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you had to sing with someone else. So instead of having someone else, it was Eddie Brock and Venom. So they had the Venom head.
Damn.
He would have that sing it. It was really cool because he did Boris the Spider. So when we originally started doing this, nice. When we originally started doing the cosplay karaoke, it was a joke because I'd be at shows and I would be working with the Action Lab guys, and we'd watch all these cosplayers go by. We're like, man, if they had to sing karaoke, what would be the song they did? And it was like kind of like tongue in cheek. So you think like Doctor Who would do like Time After Time, right? Or or like Daredevil would sing like I Can See for Miles, right? So things. Cat's like, I want to go to this karaoke.
Cat and Mark. Cat and Mark.
Archangel would do The Wind Beneath My Wings.
Right.
I'll throw it out there right now. Mama Core. She said you guys can stay.
There you go.
You guys got a free place.
With that, if you can come out Thursday,
Mark, you're gonna
show, that's probably when we're gonna do the cosplay karaoke, and it's also a charity event for the Heroes Initiative.
Yeah.
So to sing, you have to bare minimum give a $5 donation. We raised about $120 last night.
So Mark, you have to stay at my mom's house. Kat, you can stay on the love sack because Sam won't.
With Sam.
Sam's not having Mark anywhere near us.
Yep.
What's that?
Sam the dog does not like you.
A few miles away.
No. Tell them the story of Sam.
Sam and Carson. Carson and Kat come in the house. They're allowed to sit on the couch. Sam jumps up right between them. He's cool. He just sits there and stares at Mark. Kat falls asleep on my beanbag. That sounds terrible.
It's a big beanbag chair.
Heyo.
And the fact that I call it a love sack is even worse.
So your dog don't want Mark near his sack, man.
No, he sat in front of Cat and he just looked at Mark like, I'm gonna fuck you up, man.
Hell yeah.
Poor Mark's just sitting there going, I need cuddle time. So
man, if you got time to see, you got time to believe, and you better believe it because Perry Comics is here, the #1 lurker on the Superstation. TBS, that's for you, Seawood 19, Classic Atlanta.
All right, filibuster's here.
All right, now we need picks of the week. We need Drew Manchu, baby.
Drew, we're talking about the downfall of DC. How would you like to interject?
You know what? I don't like speaking ill of the dead.
He said they were deceased fans.
No. I love DC Comics. There's so many great characters. I think that the issue isn't the characters. I think the issue is stories, and I think that they've strayed from what has worked, and they've decided that they need to reboot once again, which means we'll get really, really great comics for about 2 months, and then everything will just fall apart again.
Yeah, another little dog. John's got his other youngster up here, cold chilling. Drew, if Greg Berlanti would take some of the kick-ass stories and writing they do over there for the CW, Greg would move his head to the DC team. Maybe he can make some good comics appear on the small screen.
There are plenty of great comics all over the board. It doesn't matter what company you're looking at them coming from. I just think that when Dan Didio goes out of his way to relaunch, right after he screwed up a relaunch that had to come in and fix the relaunch that he did that screwed everything up in the first place.
Long live Didio.
It's a cycle, right? So we're getting hopefully 5G's another rebirth and not another New 52. But when that New 52 launched, a lot of really great #1s, a lot of really great fresh starts with story.
Yeah.
If they can find a way to give themselves a foundation from which to propel stories forward, bully for them, man. I'll be happy to see if it works out for them.
Did you just say bully for him?
I did. I said bully for them.
Well, you know what? There's a guy coming from across the pond to none other than... Yeah, that's right. The Three Rivers Comic Con, May 30th and the 31st. But dude, you know what? We've been talking all this smack about DC and Marvel. That gives you an opportunity to go and pick up. That's right. None other than your junior high horror independent. Oh, I kicked him out.
Where'd he go?
I just took him out.
All right, Potsy.
I guess I went backstage for a minute.
You're in the gorilla position.
Yeah.
You're in the gorilla position.
The gorilla position.
Potsy, can you give us your take on this whole thing as a creator? What is your stance?
My stance on DC rebooting.
Here, I'll give you the scenario.
Okay.
5 years ago, well, 7 years ago, right? How long has it been since Rebirth?
7 years ago was the last time you did the gorilla position.
Rebirth was 3 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like 2 or 3 years ago.
Okay, so 3 years
Not
ago.
very long.
So 3 years ago, Jeff Johns sits on stage. They got Scott Snyder there. They lay out the entire map of what's going to happen. We're going to have the 3 Jokers. We're doing this Doomsday Clock. And now you shit on everything that you've done. You already have erased Dr. Manhattan in Wonder Woman in the last issue.
Shazam's story's pretty good, fans. Just saying.
When it comes out.
When it comes out. And now you're going to a relaunch? Why didn't you just follow the format? Because the original format, correct me if I'm wrong, John or anybody.
Looking beard there, fella. But John Ingle got a good beard.
The original format was shorter arcs, sustained stories. Am I correct?
I don't know if it was shorter arcs, sustained stories. I think what it was supposed to be was new creative teams with new creative visions working on the characters to bring the love back to them that you originally had.
Right. Bring the hope back to the DC universe.
You know, and I think Rebirth #1, when Jeff Johns wrote it, you had those different artists working on it. They actually showed that. That was truly a love letter from Jeff Johns. And I think what happened was he was vice president, and then you had Dan DiDio and Jim Lee both as president and co-publisher and weird whatever, and slowly DiDio just kept pushing, or DiDio, however you say it,
DiDio
started pushing away Jeff Johns' creative vision for this because he wanted to do things like kill Dick Grayson, kill the name Dick Grayson. Why am I getting so much flack for wanting to kill Dick Grayson? You know, all this craziness when Jeff Johns got further and further away from DC and more into the Warner Brothers side of stuff. And what you notice there is that there's a big disconnect. And you have to blame Jim Lee for part of it as well, as much as we all love him as a creator, but he just kind of, it almost is like he lets Dan DiDio do whatever he wants. And there's no accountability for when sales tank, for when you bring in creators that know nothing about. I mean, Brian Michael Bendis's first tweet when it got announced that he signed a deal with DC, if I remember correctly, was, now which one's Clark and which one's Bruce? You know, now granted, it was a joke, but when you read how he writes those characters, he writes them exactly the same.
Do you think when DC's in danger, do they need to call in Dan DiDio's Phantom Stranger?
Super cheap plug.
No, that was a great.
I will always
one of
read
DiDio's
Phantom
best
Stranger,
writings
just for
ever.
the-
DiDio's Phantom Stranger was one of the best.
You
I
know,
enjoyed Phantom Stranger a lot, actually.
I love Phantom Stranger, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm probably making sure that I never work for DC Comics by, giving my opinions here, guys. But but it's one of those things, Chad, where I think that based on what your question is, do I like to see a reboot every 5 years? No. I think that if they had stuck to the plan, and unfortunately, Jeff Johns is partly to blame for getting Doomsday Clock out so late, which probably meant that by then DiDio was allowed to change the aspects of everything himself. But at the same time, Jeff Johns probably had to rewrite the end of Doomsday Clock so that way it would fit in with this new visage and everything else that they had in mind. And I watched Drew's video talking about how he didn't like the end of Doomsday Clock. And because of that, he probably didn't like Doomsday Clock at all.
No, it was garbage from start to finish. Not only that, it was completely unnecessary. And the way that the Rebirth one-shot launched the Rebirth universe, you could have just released another Omega 64-page special that covered everything, trimmed the fat, and you don't have to wait 3.5 years for one 12-issue maxi series to come out.
Yeah.
You know what wasn't a hot mess? You know what is not a hot mess at all? Pittsburgh in May. Look how funny it is. And
Well,
also,
I mean, you said that is
Look
a.
at that Rogers.
What did you call that Mr. Rogers statue, Chad?
that is a mud monster. But hey, because Cat's into some crazy, freaky shit in movies and comic books. Movies and comic books.
Hey.
Hashtag gone too soon. Here we go.
3 hours.
You can also see this Rogers floating around. Yeah, that's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
That's amazing.
T-Rex and Mr. Rogers in downtown Pittsburgh. That's
Dude,
happening.
Did you see that movie yet?
The Mr. Rogers one?
Velocipaster.
Oh yeah! Oh my god, I saw it like
It's
the second day it was out. It was
spectacular,
so good.
Dude,
Oh,
dude,
so good.
dude.
Look this out.
Little screenshot. VFX
Yeah.
car explosion. No.
That
VFX
movie
car explosion.
feels like the Kung Pao for this generation to me.
Yeah.
Like if
And
you've
then-
never seen Kung Pao.
He just gives up on turning into a raptor and then knows kung fu all of a sudden.
True. Have you seen any good movies lately?
No, I saw Birds of Prey.
I
How
still
do I
haven't
kick
seen
him
it.
out?
I might go on Sunday.
You can't.
Kick him out.
I actually had a fight with I had a discussion with a critic today who did not get to see it yet either, and we were both very curious because neither of us really liked how Margot Robbie played Harley Quinn in Suicide Squad, but we like Margot Robbie as an actress in general. So it's very hard for us to understand if it's even going to be worth it. And then I had a lot of people say it was really good. I mean, I'm a big Birds of Prey fan. Like
You will not enjoy this movie.
Okay, then I will probably be sad and just weep into my popcorn.
Yeah.
It has high points and it has low points. The low points
Yes.
for me, I feel like Cassandra Cain is useless in this.
Yeah, that's
Should
a
not
big
have
thing I heard.
labeled her Cassandra Cain.
She's
I feel
fine.
like Renee Montoya is just kind of spinning her wheels in this.
She certainly is.
I would definitely say Harley is more Harley in this. If you like the New 52, like Amanda Connor, Jimmy Palmiotti, like the Terry Dodson runs, things like that,
Yeah.
it's much more that Harley. So if you're a fan of that, you'll probably appreciate this Harley more. That being said, the Black Canary in this is actually pretty fantastic, and I liked her. I
She
wish
was the only
wish
part that I
she
actually was looking forward to seeing.
I wish
You
her
will be
her
sorely
vocals were a
disappointed.
little better, honestly. But
So-
She has
I
no.
like-
She has nothing to do in this movie.
and then
So completely
Huntress.
off topic of this. But one thing that does kind of go back to the whole Harley Quinn thing is, what did everybody think of the announcement that Paul Dini's coming back to write a Batman animated series story?
Yeah,
I'm
it's gonna be
excited.
a good one.
I'm very excited. That's awesome.
Batman Adventures: The Return.
And they've
Jason
said that
Todd stuff, right?
Deathstroke is going to be in this.
Oh, Deathstroke. All right.
Who's going to be the artist?
Ty
Is there-
Templeton.
Is there a book that
Oh,
Deathstroke isn't in
nice.
at the moment?
I'm getting that one. That's a touchdown in my book,
It's
like
gonna be
Chad was
fantastic.
motioning over there.
I mean,
That's
Dave
gonna be all-
Johnson did the main cover for the first issue. It looks like Dan Mora's doing covers for it. This and Paul Dini basically in the interview with Entertainment Weekly said that this is going to be all the stuff that he wasn't really allowed to touch upon with these characters back in the 90s, but he's totally writing it as if it were written as a direct sequel to those stories that they had written.
That's awesome.
Damn.
That I'm excited for.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Now,
I'll definitely be getting those.
Is
as
this still going to be
singles.
on all ages title?
I don't know. Think about back when 1992 Batman came out. It wasn't exactly an all ages cartoon, but yet it was still 10 and up, I guess.
Yeah.
It was edgy. It was like a teen rating.
Mhm.
So
And the other question I have,
Rated Y7.
yeah, I guess it would have been.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Y7 still seems like it would have been a little bit young for that cartoon.
There's a lot
It
of
was the last
references,
cartoon with
but
actual
it's
guns in
fun.
Yeah, you're probably right there, Drew. But then the other news that came out from DC this week is all about this new character that's the Joker's new girlfriend named Punchline.
Oh yeah. We got a girl here who's a fan of Punchline. Are you a fan of Punchline there? Yeah. All right.
I'm
You
a
know,
Harley
she's not-
girl.
The guy sitting next to you needs to be punched.
Potsy?
No.
Oh, on the other side.
With my husband.
I'm just kidding. It's
Hey, you know what?
Valentine's. It's time to hold hands and whisper in each other's ears.
Yeah, it's Valentine's Day. Cat who used to be in a mall. That's right, Three Rivers Comic Con. And you know what else? They're not in a mall anymore.
Rivers Comic.
They're at the convention
Mall
center,
center.
and
Where can we find them? Where can we find
they're going to be
them,
in
Chad?
Pittsburgh, May 30th and 31st. And you know what's only a stone throw away? That's right, the Monroeville.
Oh yeah.
Mall. You know what happened at the Monroeville Mall? That's right.
Zombies.
Yeah, Dawn of the Dead. This is the mall where Dawn of the Dead, and just north of
And don't forget that Zach and Miri Make a Porno was filmed there too.
Yep, right above. And you also have right up the road the video that we did for Halloween. What was that? Night of the Living Dead.
Yep.
The cemetery and Cat. Joe Hill's film debut in Creepshow.
Okay. Yep.
Dude,
So
freaking cool.
if you guys haven't, if I haven't told you and I slipped my mind, that's right. Three Rivers Comic Con.
Oh my god, that slipped my mind.
Oh yeah, that
Hashtag.
The David
Three
L.
Rivers
Lawrence Convention
Comic-Con.
Center. That's way better than a mall.
I gotta say, I really hope that this Comic Con has actually paid this show off this week because man, that's I'm kidding, John. I'm
a whole
kidding.
lot of love.
I didn't want them.
John pays cat and beer.
Yeah, it's true. You have a case of beer coming to you.
I'm not
Just
allowed
the
to
other
drink
cool
it.
part though is that I didn't talk about was ticket pricing. So
Oh,
everybody,
yeah.
as soon as we made this announcement, was like, "Oh man, it's gonna be nuts! It's gonna be crazy! They're gonna raise the prices." So the answer is sorta. So first, our ticket prices from now until the end of March are as follows: Saturday, adult, $10.
What?
Sunday, adult, $10.
What?
Weekend adult, $15.
Oh my goodness.
VIP package, $40.
What?
Hey,
Yep.
guys, I just
So-
want to
That's
tell you,
nuts.
you paid for the whole seat, but you just need the edge.
So then on April 1st, the only two things that change: Saturday only, $13. Weekend, $20. Everything else is the same.
Is it
So,
an April Fool's shenanigan
Crazy
change?
Eddie commercial? He's insane.
The best thing I ever got was someone posted on the announcement, and they were like, "Oh man, I was totally out, and then I saw $10 tickets, and you pulled me right back in." So it's been cool.
I know it is. Legend, why are you playing that gimmick?
Comics Misexplained is on Facebook, fans, and he says it's all free. Come on down. Well, yeah, because your ass ain't paying, Jason. That's what it is.
You guys can't stay at his
boy.
house. It's like 5 minutes away from the convention center.
Always watch that man because he'll be bringing a couple of beers back in both hands. You know, it's that right shit.
Or a bucket.
Sounds
Yeah,
like my
bucket
kind of sounds like my kind of dude to hang out with.
Yeah.
So, Potsy, what are you doing May 30th and 31st?
Oof! I know that the week before that I am at Carolina Fear Fest, so I will be at a horror convention, slinging
Oh,
that
that's right.
junior high horrors.
You're trying something
Dude.
new now. I like it.
Smart
Yeah,
move.
It's my second year doing that show. Last year, one of the best things that I think I've ever seen is a whole family of 5 walking up, a mom with like a 2-year-old daughter in her hands, carrying her around like this, and the 2-year-old daughter goes, "Mommy, can I get the comic with Michael Myers on the cover?" And the mom just turns and looks and just with this sweet look on her face is like, "You absolutely can."
And then they went across the aisle and bought the Austin Powers book.
Well, see, one of the things that made the show so great for me, Drew, is the fact that there were no other comic book creators there. So it really was the prime location for selling.
So what
a
you're
product.
saying is that your comic was the worst one there.
Yeah, well,
It was
probably-
also the best.
It's also the best, but
Why are you so It's
Like
welcome back.
step
And
everyone's
with
back.
that,
I'm
I
just
want to
trying to
point out,
the
Chad and I had an
that you
off-air
allowed-
conversation. Chad and I
Those
had
are
an
things
off-air
that
conversation
Drew
where
likes
we
to
talked
attack.
about like the first time I met Drew Manchu, and I looked right at him right as we walked out of a liquor store, and I said, "Why do you hate me so much?"
And what did I tell you, Potsy?
I don't hate you. I'm just gonna give you shit like everybody else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If
Well,
I
you know,
hated
Chad-
you, I would have walked away from you.
I
It's true.
say,
Yeah.
I think it's time. It's time. It's not time for Vader, but it is time to go down the line and see where all of y'all are at and what y'all are ready for. Chad, you go first.
Hey, Ledge, we've got Pittsburgh Comic Con coming up. We've got MegaCon, which is going to be insane. So much so, I do have a question for everybody that is going on our group, real quick, and we can throw it to the whole entire panel. So we go to the Sorting Hat, and the Sorting Hat's placed on your head. What house are you falling under? Drew,
Oh, I'm a Ravenclaw.
I
I'm
see
a smarty
that.
pants.
Legend.
Dude, the Marvel family from the Golden Age. That's who I'm with. But actually, no. When everyone wants to know what's in store on the Comic Core,
We're
you
going
look
to
to the
Hogwarts.
Legend because I'm Gryffindor, man. That's
All
how I
right.
roll with it.
Okay.
All right,
And
John.
that's what I pick on there.
Gryffindor. Way to go,
Yeah.
basic bitch.
Hey man, the legends go to Gryffindor. Sorry, pal.
All right, John. What about you?
I am probably a Ravenclaw. So yeah.
All right. Hey, Potsy. How about you, my man?
I gotta. This is where I lose all my street cred with you guys. I probably do not have a clan.
Hufflepuff.
Hufflepuff.
All right. Hey, you know who else would be a Hufflepuff?
Mark.
Kat, what do you think?
Mark.
No, I'm not a fucking fluffer. You know what? I'm out. Goodbye.
All right,
Back to
Lindsay,
your
that's all I
box.
got.
All right, so Potsy, if you don't picking no house, you could just be one of those muggles, just regular people.
Mark, I'm pissed 'cause-
Remember the
Probably
muggle?
not the first time I've been called a muggle, and yet I have no idea what that is. So
Muggle's just a human, just the human, while all the wizards and the witches are doing
You
their
never
own
read
thing.
Harry Potter?
You know what I am? I'm drunk on butterbeer. That's
What
what
are you doing with your life?
what am I doing with?
They have every flavor of jelly bean, including vomit, which is really disgusting. Do not accidentally eat the vomit one.
Or don't eat it on purpose either.
Hey, so Mark,
Did John get to pick his house?
yeah, he said.
Yeah. Ravenclaw.
He's Ravenclaw. Yeah, y'all.
Yeah, but
y'all
then
with the
Mark got mad
Ravenclaw.
because he's a fluffer.
Cat. What's your house, Cat?
Okay, so clearly when I was a child, a bit more optimistic, I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm a Gryffindor, whatever. But I'm a realist as an adult. Of course, I believe in things like velocipastors and turkeys that are trying to avenge their ancestors,
goat
on
simulators.
Thanksgiving. Yeah, goat simulators, things like that. Very important things. Important things.
Fantastic.
So
taste in movies.
let's be honest. I'm pretty sure I'm a Slytherin.
Mhm. I think you are. Drew
I
Manchu.
can hedge, but I'm pretty sure I'm a Slytherin.
Drew Manchu, how about you? What you got going on the week?
Oh man, I just started a new job this week. I haven't even read a comic book this week, guys. I haven't read anything, and I don't know when I'm going to get a chance to read things. So yeah, we're going to see how things go, and you might see me here or there, and you're definitely going to see me Monday night for the Watchmen discussion on Modern Men. So if you haven't read
fun.
Watchmen recently, get it read. Come join us at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday. We're going to be talking about the Watchmen. And I don't think we have another topic loaded up. I think the whole thing is going to be a big Watchmen discussion. And I know that the Great Legend is going to be joining us as well. So I can't wait
Hey,
to talk
Drew,
about the Watchmen.
Is talking about the Watchmen just going to be talking about the 12-issue maxi series, or is it also going to be talking about the HBO show?
I believe that the tertiary Watchmen material being the television show, the movie, the before Watchmen issues that I know the Great Legend just read all of that before Watchmen stuff.
Good stuff,
Even
man.
Doomsday Clock. I think that we're going to see where the conversation takes us, and how much time we have to cover it. So we're going to go more into the 12-issue miniseries than anything else, and maybe have a little bit of conversation about how it has affected other media.
I guess the confrontation Freudian slip there was actually meant, right?
Sure. Talk about that Doomsday Clock and how it sucks.
Potsy, man, what do you got going on with your stuff, man, on social media? Tell the fans where they could find you.
Well, obviously, you can find me at Potchak on Twitter, at Rob Potchak, both Facebook and Instagram. I am all over that stuff for some reason. Just got announced that I will be at NC Comic-Con here right in Raleigh, North Carolina. I guess if I did my best, Mick Foley would be right here in and of course, he knows all about Pittsburgh and that Three Rivers Comic-Con.
He fell through a cage here in Pittsburgh.
He did.
Yep.
He did.
Yep. And do you know what else is in Pittsburgh?
Three Rivers Comic-Con?
Yeah, that's right, Potsy. It happens May 30th and the 31st, 2020. Check it out.
And of course, Kurt Angle, the Pittsburgh kid, got booed out of Pittsburgh
because he's a dick.
Yeah,
he's a drunk.
And he's an a-hole.
With his initial stick. I just announced a couple other conventions that I'll actually be going to. Legend, I will be at, like I said, Carolina Fear Fest. I believe that's Memorial Day weekend. I will be at NC Comic-Con. I'll be at Fayetteville Comic-Con here in North Carolina as well. Another North Carolina Comic-Con that I love dearly is Heroes Con in Charlotte. I will be at that again. I will be there with both Billy Parker from Junior High Horrors and the D Ward, his book about demons and a mental asylum, as well as Eric Klaus, who I mentioned earlier from Ninjas and Robots. We will all also be in San Diego one more time. I unfortunately will not be at MegaCon with the Comics Corps. So anybody looking to get that Potsy autograph at MegaCon will have to wait until next year when we do it again.
But we may bribe him to be at, that's right. I got to get the button better. The Pittsburgh Comic-Con.
Oh, yeah.
Three Rivers Comic-Con at May 30th and 31st, 2020.
Now, John might not remember it, but he did already offer me a table for that show, so I'm going to see if I can work out the dates and make something happen.
Because you'll be there with the Comic Corps on May 30th and 30th. I'm getting tired. Sorry, John.
John Ingle, what do you got going on, my friend, and where can we find you?
He's got the Three Rivers Comic-Con.
That's exactly what I have going on. I've been actually very busy catching up with that, but I do have a small toy show that we're setting up in Parkersburg, West Virginia, the first weekend of March. It's a benefit for like an art gallery where everything is actually it's like an art gallery library. It's really cool if you're in that area. There's a little microbrewery right down the street that's great too. Other than that, we will be either myself or my boss will be set up over at Gem City Comic-Con in Dayton, Ohio. That is mid-March. And then after that, we're going to be prepping for Free Comic Book Day. And you guessed it, Three Rivers Comic-Con.
I like it. Boom. Before you bounce real quick, can you tell them how many books do you guys just have in the basement?
Just in the basement, it's 500,000 plus sorted, and they're all $1 a piece 3 times a year.
That's freaking awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? We had a great time tonight, fans. We got to see our good friend. Oh wait, we already didn't we already go to her? What?
Don't forget the Slytherin.
Oh, shoot.
It's all good. Yeah, you can find me here on the Comic Corps, of course. Yeah, awkward face. I can do a better one. Look. And you gotta get the shaken because it's the Angela shake.
That kind of shake.
What's the power shaking, baby?
Shout out to Sleepaway Camp.
Oh,
But I'm also on KatRen Figures and Cinema Figures here on YouTube. You can also find me on Instagram or Mark on Mark BKR90 on Instagram as well. But
Fluffer.com.
oh,
What?
that's right.
And Fluffer.com.
no.
He'll
No.
be back.
He'll be back.
Hopefully he'll come back.
No, dude, Mark. The other night on John's Comics and Kids, I told them that was the best Mark appearance of all time because he was just following this piece of lint around. He said, and he was just
There was like a dust bunny that was like coming off one of the light fixtures, and he was just like watching it.
so Mark. But I love that dude. He's a great guy. These are my kiddos.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. You only get that kind of love and commitment from the Comic Corps. It is Valentine's Day, so if you have a friend at home, give them a hug, give them a little kiss, tell them how much they mean to you. Fans, we got a big announcement. Next Friday night, 9 Central, 10 Eastern, on the Comic Corps, on the rails, we're going to have this guy named John Beatty coming over. You may have seen him.
Yeah.
He's done some stuff with Mike Zeck. And, man, when you see John Beatty do one of those sketches, you're looking at some good stuff. And what we're going to be doing is, hey, it's your chance to win the sketch. So next week, we'll be put some bids down. You like what the man's drawing? Let's start seeing a little bit of that cash, because all proceeds of the money raised that night with John Beatty being here is going to be going to the Hero Initiative. You can find more about the Hero Initiative at just heroinitiative.org. Don't put the THE in the front or you will be left behind like Tim LaHaye and Jerry B. But anyway, fans, this is the great legend. You're watching Comic Corps on the rails, saying peace out. God bless.
No.
Oh,
Nothing.
Oh, shit,
Do it
again.
again.
Really?
Oh, come on, man.
Really, legend?
Hit that shit.